Hey, everybody, let's talk about the paleo diet. This is the strong and healthy diet, and it's in response to Judah's midterm project. It's one of my favorite diets to talk about, so thank you, Judah. What is it? What's the claim? It's the natural human diet, not focused on weight loss. It enhances performance, improves health, and you get to feel vibrant. It all sounds pretty great, right? And the premise for this is that we as humans are returning to our most natural state of eating like the cavemen did. And this is the big claim because it focuses on fruits and vegetables like hunter-gatherer societies, right? Fruits and vegetables with plant sources or animal sources of proteins, as well as some from plants, but mostly from animals. There's limits on certain types of grains and legumes and plant-based like cooking oils. And the reason I say limits instead of restrictions is because it depends on the source that you consult and whether you are amending this or not, because it's all over the website. They want each individual to make this work in a way for them. So being able to amend these things is part of it, which I think is pretty cool. So it claims that it's the strong and healthy diet and the most natural form of eating for humans. No refined sugars and no ultra processed foods. The focus on animal proteins is obviously beneficial for those who are not consuming enough. It can help boost their musculoskeletal health. But if you are already consuming a lot of protein or too much protein, and then you add even more and you focus on the protein part of this more than you do the fruits and vegetables part of this, you can damage your liver and your kidneys. Both of these articles started in somewhat oppositionary places, but landed on the same spot. Protein good unless there's too much of it or not enough of it. Find the balance. That's the general consensus, which is very, very important, obviously, to balance our macronutrients, despite the fact that the paleo diet itself does not encourage exact and precise macro calculations, which was kind of refreshing. Our microbiome is also impacted positively, generally speaking, by the paleo diet. And all of this research is done based on or the majority of this research is done based on what the actual paleo diet is, like from the website, like they're monitored and by nutritionists and specialists in these areas. However, people who are experiencing it aren't always experiencing a true paleo diet, whatever that is. We'll come back to that. So the microbiome, short term, it has short-term effects, still positive. Long-term, even longer-term effects, still positive overall. However, this guy right here talks about how 2.5 million years of both environmental and human evolution mean that paleo diet, what is the paleo diet? Like there was not one single across the board paleo diet. And like what people would have eaten in Hungary 2.5 million years ago and what people ate in Mesoamerica 2.5 million years ago are going to be vastly different. And even within Mesoamerica itself, it varies based on access. So the general consensus about the paleo diet in the evolutionary medicine world is that the misinterpreted fad claims just need to chill. Like nutritionally, it's fine. But this whole end all be all, this is how true humans ate. Get in touch with your ancestors. Eat like you're like, it's all overdone, and it's not accurate because it's this weird combination of humans being maladapted to survive nutritionally in our environment, well, and otherwise, but we're talking about the nutrition component here, in our environments as they are now, but also the environments are maladaptive to human health. So it's this back and forth. And this is important when understanding what a diet can do for someone, is that it's not just the nutrients that come in, it's the entire picture that's being painted. So if you have someone that comes in that is like, yes, this is going to heal all my problems, I'll do this for 6 weeks and call it good, that's when we need to sit down. And that's what happens with most fad diets, or at least in my experience. People come in, say, oh, I've been doing this, I've done this, I've lost all this weight, but then I gained it back. And then this, and it's just this whole story about how they've gotten their information from social media and then been let down. That's why they're in your office now. So this happens a lot with fads. And this one especially, people expect to all of a sudden just be this like raw, pure muscle caveman type. And even that term is problematic, but it does make for some really fun graphics. So not necessarily problematic, a misnomer. And well, it depends. Anyway, but the graphics are very fun. So what these articles tell us is that the claim that human beings need to eat one certain way across the globe is simply not true. There's a lot of variety, and depending on what you need, this may or may not be the right fit for you, because the blue zones, which is what I did my midterm project on, also offer a lot of very regional, environmental kind of things that are all very different. But they do have a other way. They nope. There we go. They do have a focus on lentils in the Blue Zones diet, but lentils are basically off the table for this one. And I thought that was interesting because it's not necessarily right or wrong. It depends on the person and the situation and the environment. But overall, I absolutely think it's safe. There's been research done on its metabolic impacts. And although every single article that I read says that metabolically we're headed in the right direction with the paleo diet, more official research needs to be done on its actual long-term metabolic impacts. However, all signs are pointed in the right direction. So that's good. However, what we do have to consider is that in order to continue to have a sustainable source of food, we have to take care of the environment. And if we don't take care of the environment, we won't have nutritionally dense, beneficial foods for us. So when it comes to the meat consumption and the protein piece of the paleo diet, if we are looking for a sustainable solution, that means that we would need to be buying locally and organic and at farmers markets and not doing mass produced anything. The problem with that comes to access, food deserts, resource availability, the sociopolitical determinants of health, health disparities, and all kinds of things like that. So yes, do I think the paleo diet is an excellent basis for things that we have the ability to amend and adjust based on each individual person and their circumstances? Absolutely. It's safe. It gives enough of all of the macronutrients and leaves room for plenty of micronutrients. Like, and even on their website itself, there's a little bit of wiggle room available. Like broccoli and smoothie bowls would not have been available to cavemen. But they're allowed now. So there is wiggle room within it, and I absolutely love that. We just have to figure out how to make it sustainable and accessible to everyone before it is a widespread good solution. But for individuals who can afford it, absolutely, why not? So I actually noticed a lot of overlap with this in the Blue Zones, and I thought that was pretty cool because it's based on the environment and the person and focusing on natural, delicious foods. So there you go. Thanks, everybody.